Welcome to the exciting and new podcast. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Brian.
And I'm Caitie.
Why does he even count down if he got 3, 2, 1 to 0? But he got the 0,
Do you see the
and then we
fingers
waited
and they're
another
like-
second and a half.
Does he not know how to? Do you not know how to do that with your
I'm
fingers?
so glad that your daughter's
And we
going
didn't
to mock
have to, we
me
didn't
for
have to say it
this.
first. Yeah.
I was so confused.
Well, I do 3, 2, 1, 0, go.
Yeah, but no, your daughter's
Why?
talking about something else first.
Well, it felt like you've never used your fingers before.
Well, it's a little complicated doing that
Really? Is it? I mean, so see, what is that claw?
because I didn't retract my fingers correctly.
You look like a dinosaur.
It really is.
So you start with the fist.
Are you some kind of raptor?
He's
Yeah.
like, yo,
Yeah.
West Side.
Why not just start with the 3? Again, what is that?
Jesus. Are you German?
Have you never?
Doing the German 3?
Yeah. Are we
And even if he did
Inglourious
do that,
Bastards?
even if he did do that, you can 3, 2, 1. You can do that.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know if I can.
Well, 3, 2, 1,
I guess I
0. Like, that's not difficult. And you
But
do this
then it-
every week? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Dad. I love
Every-
you.
And we
Yes.
mock him almost every week, but it's been a while. But I'm glad you're here to
was-
mock.
Thank you for finally somebody else without
Now
us
it's on
pointing
video.
it out. Yeah.
Maybe I should use this hand.
You're still struggling.
Yeah.
That was
I have
better.
to think about
It was better.
But, like, just put it up. Like, you don't have to.
I think his inner
Are you
monologue
doing
is
it
saying
to the
4,
microphone, to the
7,
camera?
12. So he's like, oh,
Well,
no,
maybe-
wait, what?
Would it be easier if you did start with 4?
4.
I think that's harder. Because
Or if you just start
I
with-
thought if he has all of them out, I thought maybe
If
that
you
might
put
be-
3 fingers up and you just go
Wow.
3, 2, 1, like you can't
if
just
you,
do
if you
that.
haven't turned the podcast off yet, I don't know what you're waiting for.
If you're not a fan of the show, you have no idea what's going on. If you're a fan of the show, you know exactly what's going on.
We're here to discuss.
Oh yeah, what are we here for? Oh, I thought we were just here to mock Brian.
We're here to discuss a movie. It was released in theaters December 15th, 1974, with a running time of 1 hour and 46 minutes. Young Frankenstein.
Were you born yet when this came out?
I was October 2nd, 1974.
Wow, you were just born. Brian and I were
Real quick.
4.
over 4. Yeah.
It was rated PG. Running time was 1 hour and 46 minutes. It came out December 15th, 1974. But you know what came out February 7th, 1974?
I do not know.
Blazing fucking Saddles. That's right, the same year.
Wait,
Blazing Saddles.
a week apart? These
No,
two
February
I thought you
7th
said
and December 15th.
You said December. Sorry.
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow.
Blazing
Very
Saddles
prolific.
and Young Frankenstein. The same year.
Better movie?
Better movie.
No, I don't agree.
You should rewatch it then.
No, I've
Listen,
seen both
I know
movies, and
Blazing
I will
Saddles.
tell you right now, it is the better movie is Young Frankenstein.
It's an interesting opinion.
I have to side with Caitie on this. I think Blazing Saddles
I think-
is
Who would take his opinion on
that's
anything?
true.
Blazing Saddles is, I think, is more satirical. Like, it's funnier.
That's, I think, the great thing about this movie. Whatever this movie is, did we talk about do we know what
Young
the movie is?
Frankenstein, I said it.
This movie doesn't even look like it wants to be funny. Like it's not
No.
throwing every joke at the wall. It's not like Airplane or Naked Gun where it's just like a bunch of sight gags, everything's silly, or like Blazing Saddles where it's just a bunch
Joke,
of
joke, joke,
ridiculousness. It is just trying to be a serious old-timey movie, but it's just funny.
And it's
In spite of itself.
It spoofs the old time horror.
But it doesn't feel
Not
like
in a
it's
spoofy
spoofing.
way,
It doesn't
yeah.
feel like it's spoofing.
I
It
don't
just
think
feels like
I wouldn't call it a spoof movie either, but I mean,
it just feels like it's an old. Like, first of all, it looks like an old timey movie. Like we've seen movies over the last 30 years that are black and white, like The Artist and Schindler's List, and they just look like modern movies just filmed in black and white.
Clerks.
This looks like an old movie, like the way they zoom in and zoom out, and the dissolves between
and
scenes.
it was shot like that on purpose.
Yeah, the
And-
opening credits and the ending credits.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
when they
I did
did
like the opening
when they
credits.
did
I
those
thought
like
that was good.
ridiculous zoom ins, like the clock at the end, or like onto the the painting of Victor Frankenstein, like they would just zoom in and hold, and it looked like who would film a movie like this? But man, it's because it's supposed to look old. Oh,
Yeah.
See, I haven't seen a lot of old horror, but I have seen a lot of old
If you-
westerns, and that could be why I prefer
Check out
Blazing
well,
Saddles.
If you want, really check out Universal Horror. I mean, those original Dracula,
or the Frankenstein that this is
the
based
Frankenstein,
on. 'Cause
the Bride of Frankenstein. Love that movie.
Both
great
great
movies.
movies.
They're all in black and white, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is that really a problem?
It's not a problem
movie?
per se.
I have
'Cause
no-
I like Roman Holiday. That's black and white.
Nebraska
But-
is a movie that was out maybe in the past 10, 15 years.
movie.
Really good
Bruce
movie.
Dern.
Bruce Dern, Will Forte. And that's in black and white. And a lot of people didn't like that movie because it was, again, black and white. But I think that the black and white made it feel much more like rugged and real, you know?
Well, I think, yeah, like in Schindler's List, like it can be used really well to like bring out certain aspects of the movie.
It's supposed to look old, but it felt like a movie that was filmed in color, and they just at the last second were like, take all the color out of it. So it still had that modern day.
Oh, I didn't think that's why they did
look
that.
to it.
I think it was more to bring attention to the red coat. So
yeah, but the red coat's in like one scene. You're going to do a 2-hour movie
that's
for
the whole point,
a 1-minute scene.
Well, because that's when he finally gets empathy.
Yeah, I know, but
I think movie is this?
Schindler's List.
Oh,
have you heard of it?
I heard of it.
Never saw it, probably.
Never saw it.
Are you serious?
You've never seen Schindler's List?
No.
Jason made out.
I had to see it for my genocide class.
I remember Brady watching it, and I was like, what are you watching?
Yeah, he loves that movie.
Yeah.
You think
You're like, get that shit off.
I feel that's the kind of movie that like I never wanted to watch it again once I watched it the first time. I was
but
like,
it's one of those movies that
like,
you take it in and it's
yeah.
it hits you, you know, and it's something that you walk away with. It's something you discuss. I mean,
you walk away from it going like, man, those Nazis, man, they're bad guys.
They weren't nice.
They're bad guys.
They weren't nice. Not like Young Frankenstein.
The IMDb description for this was an American grandson of the infamous, or is it infamous?
Infamous or famous or infamous?
Infamous scientist struggling to prove that his grandfather was not as insane as people believe is invited to Transylvania, where he discovers the process that reanimates a dead body. And
but he's not invited to prove he's not insane. He's just going there to the will, right?
I think that's him. He tries to prove.
Well, also,
but after he gets there,
grandfather. Sometimes they said great grandfather.
It did seem like there was a little confusion because I remember when I was a kid watching this. I'm like, so is the grandfather the guy that made the real Frankenstein, or the great grandfather? Because the timeline keeps shifting.
I agree.
Well, here it said a young neurosurgeon, Gene Wilder, inherits the castle of his grandfather. So that was twice that they said grandfather, but again, could have been great grandfather. The famous Dr. Victor von Frankenstein. In the castle, he finds a funny hunchback called Igor, a pretty lab assistant named Inga, and the old housekeeper. That would have been perfect for the sound effect.
Oh, hold on.
But it's okay.
Oh,
I'm probably going to hit the clap.
I think I closed.
We'll probably get the clap. And then here you go. So forget about it. It was Frau Blücher. And then we would have had
the producer will put that in after.
All that stuff would have been really funny. But no, your inner monologue was talking. So you're probably busy.
I accidentally hit the wrong
Young
button.
Frankenstein believes that the work of his grandfather is only crap. But when he discovers the book where the mad doctor described his reanimation experiment, he suddenly changes his mind.
It might work.
And let's discuss the cast. Starting.
Can we talk about the credits first? I just want to talk about two things in the credits. Two things in the credits. There was a special thanks to.
I forgot to do Mel's top 4 as well.
Ken Strickfaden. He was Mel Brooks talked to this guy. He was the guy that created the set for the lab of the original Frankenstein movie, like the 1930s Universal.
Oh, and he
one.
had some of this
stuff.
And
he had this stuff in Mel Brooks, and he got it. So the guy never got credit in the original movie. So there's a big special, because I saw it in the, I'm like, special thanks to Ken for the original. I was like, what the hell does that mean? So I read up on that.
About that. I was like, was that really the real lab equipment?
Yeah. And this guy got him credit.
Yeah, recognition.
But it also got him
onto I think, whatever union thing you get in Hollywood.
And he got
that.
medical insurance or whatever you get.
And then the other thing that in the credits, I never knew this before, Mary Shelley, who has a very boring name, Mary Shelley, her middle name is Wollstonecraft.
That's not her middle name. It's her mother's maiden name.
Oh, well, it said based on the original book by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley. I was like, what a wild name that is.
Her husband was Percy Shelley, the poet and author, so she took his name. But Mary Wollstonecraft was her mother, who wrote like on the vindicated rights of women, like was a very big feminist. And then she died young.
Well, we all do. Oh, young.
But then Mary Shelley lost her virginity on the grave of her mother in the graveyard. With Percy Shelley.
She bragged about this? This is something she...
Well, this is like the whole like gothic, because she wrote
She's the original goth.
Yeah.
She's Anne Rice before Anne Rice. How creepy.
Frau Blücher.
Wow. Is that 3 minutes? 4 minutes?
Wow.
We need to stop watching here. Like, how long will it take for it to get to the
It's discussing gothic literature.
It was so out of place.
Oh my
But they
God,
were friends.
that's mine's even better. But
with Lord Byron too, like in that literature.
pretty cool.
And like he was at that party when she wrote.
the party where they all had to write a story, and she came up with Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool.
We could discuss that Mel Brooks is 96 years old, still alive.
Just saw him the other day in that clip for History of the World Part 2.
Yeah,
He introduces it.
he's still kicking and still doing things.
Although I guess he's got a little bit of dementia because he had to look inside his suit jacket to see who he was. Because that was the joke. He's like, "Hi, and he looks inside his jacket. Mel Brooks.
He actually looks like yogurt now. Spaceballs.
Thank you.
Spaceballs. The movie.
That's my least favorite Mel Brooks.
Did you ever see Robin Hood Men in Tights?
Love that movie. Fun fact, according to my
I
mother,
think you must not have seen Life Stinks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Life Stinks is
I
by
have not
far
seen that
his
one.
worst movie, and it's like not even debatable. That's a terrible movie, and everything else is pretty good.
I don't think you showed me that one.
No.
It's no good. It's not even worth
showing.
watching.
Yeah,
Well, because of Robin Hood Men in Tights, my dad wanted to wear tights at his wedding.
that's not the reason why.
That's what he told mom.
Wait, what?
And she said they argued about it a lot, but then she got pregnant.
I've
So he
never
stopped
heard this
arguing
story.
about
Wait,
it.
whoa,
It wasn't because of
the
Robin Hood Men in
discussions of the
Tights.
marriage were long after she was pregnant.
No. They were. She would want you to know they were engaged well before she got pregnant.
This is the first time I'm ever
They got
hearing that.
engaged in the summer.
I have seen the place where you have been conceived like 4 times because every time we drive by it,
that was the ring.
every time we drive by it, I have to get pointed out. That is where I impregnated Christine.
No. That is where she accepted my seed.
No, he actually had a very romantic proposal story where he took her on a
As
family
she's on the
vacation.
maternity ward getting wheeled in. Honey, will you marry me?
It was the summer before,
Gene Wilder starred in that.
and he buried the ring in the sand and then proposed to her.
That's what
There.
that's what he tells you now.
what
That
Mom
is
tells
not how the story goes.
And then they got
The lies parents tell their
she
children.
was impregnated that January or late December.
Yeah, before the Super Bowl.
Lies, all lies. Mel Brooks?
Yeah, Mel Brooks top 4.
Oh, let's see. Well, is Young Frankenstein in his top
It's
4?
not in his top 4.
Producers.
Producers is in his top 4.
Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles is in his top 4.
History of the World Part.
History of the World, which part?
Part 1.
1 is in his top 4.
Is that everything? No.
There's one more.
That's 3.
Robin Hood.
Not.
Spaceballs.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
How is Spaceballs above Robin?
It's number 1.
Spaceballs is a
So
funny,
good.
funny movie.
I
so
can
good.
only stomach that every 10 years, like once every 10 years.
Oh, man,
Do you like
what's
Star
on my-
Wars?
it.
I do.
Then you
It's
should, like,
so
you should have a
80s.
little
It's
bit of a-
so 80s, that movie.
It was made in the 80s.
I do enjoy the part when they're doing like the little alien predator dance in the diner.
Hello, my baby. Hello, my darling.
Yes.
We talked about that last week.
During Alien.
Yeah.
Perfect time to talk about it both, actually. Yeah. But Gene Wilder played Dr. Frederick Frankenstein. I'm not sure if I'm saying this
Frankenstein.
correctly.
And
Broderick.
at one point,
Broderick, yes.
Frau Bruckner says Frankenstone. I never picked that up before. And the millions of times I've watched this movie, I've never picked up Frankenstone.
Frau Blücher.
Now that you have it ready, every time that comes up, that's great.
And I did read after watching this movie that Gene Wilder only accepted to do this movie when Mel Brooks said he would not be in it.
Oh, he made sure. Gene Wilder
Yeah.
said, I don't want you to be in it at all.
Oh, you had that in your notes? Oh, okay. I saw that.
Why? Is there a reason behind that?
Yeah, because he didn't want Mel to be
Upstaging
directing
him.
it and in it because he would have gave himself all the better parts.
I don't think he did that in Blazing Saddles.
He never said he did, but that's what he would have
Oh.
done in it.
Okay.
They were never on screen together in Blazing Saddles, were they?
I don't think so because he played like the
The
governor.
mayor, yeah, or the governor, yeah, he gov on his back. Governor Lepetime.
And he was yogurt in Spaceballs.
But Gene Wilder
That was
wasn't
kind of
in
Gene
Spaceballs.
Wilder
minor.
was
Gene
in
Wilder
that.
wasn't in it.
But I
they
mean, he was
both in
playing
the
a minor
producers?
character.
Oh, minor character, yeah.
I thought he normally was the minor character.
Yeah, he's never usually.
Unless he was like a main guy.
well, like
in
to be or not to be
Producers.
is the star. Is he in the producers? Is he in
I don't know.
producers?
He made producers.
He passed in 2016. He was 83 at the time. Alzheimer's. Complications from Alzheimer's. I never say that right. I never. Alzheimer's or Alzheimer's?
Most people say old timers, which is
I
completely
don't say that.
wrong.
Aren't you glad I didn't say that?
There's
How
a
do
few
you-
people
how do
we
you
work
say it?
with. There's a few people we work with that say
Oh,
old
yeah,
timers.
I've heard it. And
My dad has old timers. I'm like, So does mine, and he's fine. He's just an old man.
Yeah, my dad goes out to the old timers game too. Yeah. But his top four:
Willy Wonka.
Young Frankenstein.
Willy Wonka and Young Frankenstein. 1
Silver
and 2.
Streak.
Producers.
Producers is 3. Silver Streak is no.
Can I ask a question before we get into all these people? Is every single one of them going to have Young Frankenstein as one of theirs?
Not necessarily.
Because I was doing the game to myself as I was sitting there watching it, going like, can I name 4 other things that aren't Young Frankenstein that these people have been in? And I can name 4 other things Gene Wilder's been in, but...
Oh, Blazing Saddles. That's the 4th one.
Yeah, you don't have to we'll do it as we go along.
No, the 4th one is See No Evil, Hear No Evil, which is
Of
surprising.
all the Richard Pryor movies, that's the one that they picked?
Yeah, I know. I would rather seen Stir
Silver
Crazy.
Streak, Stir Crazy.
Yeah.
Up next was Madeline Kahn. She played Elizabeth.
Loved her.
She passed away at a young age, 1999. I don't have her age. I didn't put her age. Sorry, but I believe she was like 50.
Cervical cancer or something like that. Yeah.
Ovarian cancer, actually. Yep. And her top 4.
Clue.
Yeah, Clue.
Andy, what was your favorite line from Clue?
Hot burning flames, flames, burning. Love it.
Young Frankenstein.
Young Frank. How about History of the World?
Blazing Saddles.
All right, so we said Young Frankenstein. You said right. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Clue you got. Blazing Saddles is correct. Yes.
History of the World now?
No, I don't
My
think you guys
tits
are.
are falling
I don't
off.
think you guys are going
I
to get
know.
the first one.
I know what it is.
What is it?
She was in Yellowbeard.
It's not Yellowbeard. It's
not
Paper
Yellowbeard.
Moon.
Oh.
We get to do Yellowbeard for
Yeah.
83,
That's
right?
next year, right? Yeah, I think it is.
What's that?
It's a
Terry Gilliam.
It's a
movie.
Monty Python Cheech and Chong smash up. It's probably terrible.
Oh, is it
but
Terry Gilliam before he got weird?
No,
He's always been
Yellowbeard, a weird movie.
Oh.
he's
okay.
always been.
Well, like
When's he not been
the
weird?
movies that he's shown me are like
Brazil,
so weird.
12 Monkeys.
The Dr. Panarsis
Oh, yeah.
Emporium.
Oh, that was one of her. That's a more
Oh,
recent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
the
when
one
Heath
with
Ledger
Jeff
died.
Bridges, when he dies,
Oh, the
Heath Ledger-
Firefly
and
ones.
the little girl. Yeah.
Heath Ledger died while
Tilly.
filming that.
Oh,
That was the one that he was
Oh,
filming.
that, I thought it was Dr. Panarsis that he died in.
Oh, yeah, that's not what you're saying?
no,
there's
this
a
was
different one.
Oh.
a crazy,
Yeah, I couldn't finish it.
crazy movie where this little
I
girl.
think it's like Fireflies or something.
I gotta look it up now.
It's a fairly newer one.
Yeah, it's newer. And it's horrifying. So is Yellowbeard not horrifying?
No, it's a goof.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. This, Dr. Panarsis and this one are not funny. They're just weird and sad.
Brian's getting on it.
Yeah,
Well,
I
we should have that in a few
Let's take a pause.
hours.
Yeah.
I'll do the Frau Bluka as well.
Tideland.
There you
Oh,
go.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
And Jeff Bridges dies in it. And his daughter, he's with his daughter, and she just.
Well, he dies from like an
he
overdose.
dies, yeah, from
like
an
a drug
and
overdose.
and she's the one who injects him.
She was doing drugs with him.
She takes
she's,
care
like,
of him, so
putting
she
everything
gives him
in
the
and-
drugs and everything.
Like, what kind of drug did she give him?
Heroin.
Yeah.
And he dies, and then she just is running around. He's just sitting there decomposing in a chair, and she's hopping up on his lap, and he's like, the gas is coming out, and she's like, "Oh, stinky daddy!" And then
How old is she in it?
a neighbor finds him, and is and finds the father, and was in love with the father when they were younger, and stuffs him. Now he's tanned and leathered.
I think I want to
It's
see
a
that.
fucked upside of movie.
and sits at the table.
Tideland?
Tideland, yeah,
That's
by
streaming
Terry
anywhere.
Gilliam
You know, it's
directed.
streaming anywhere, you know?
It's
Meg
awful.
Tilly's in
But you
it,
didn't like that at all? You said?
I don't enjoy fathers being stuffed.
and the little puppets. She puts little doll heads on her finger.
Are you going to like your father with his head in a glass
That's not
jar?
my job. That is my sister's job.
It's not her job either. No one's doing it.
No, we're going to use
Streaming on
that money to do
streaming
other
on
things.
Tubi.
Oh, there you go.
Do I have Tubi?
It's one of those free
That was like,
ones.
what's
though,
that
yeah.
movie Connor loves? The Road. Oh, God.
Oh, that's one of those movies I've heard has been either you really like it
I
or
wanted,
you
I
absolutely.
remember when he
I
saw it.
wanted to
I
just
was
walk
like,
away.
It's a
And I
terrible
did.
movie.
I won't finish it.
Marty Feldman.
Who's that?
He has Graves' disease.
Igor.
Was he Igor?
Yeah, he's Igor. He passed away young as well in
Way too young.
1982. He was only 48 years
Now,
old.
he died making Yellowbeard.
Oh, really?
He died on the set.
He died from a heart attack following food poisoning.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've had heart attacks after food poisoning too. It's not fun.
He had Graves' disease too. That's why his eyes were all
Is
popped
that what
out.
his eyes? Yeah.
He also had a head injury when he was young too.
It looks like it.
Did he like setting fires too?
What's that?
Did he like setting fires too?
He ad-libbed the moving of the hunch.
I love that.
That was his. It was his idea. So I thought that was pretty funny. His top 4 was Young Frankenstein, obviously.
Yellowbeard.
Yellowbeard is not, and I'm just gonna go in and tell
Silent
you.
movie.
No, because it's In God We Trust or Give Me That Primetime Religion. The last remake of Bo Guest and a TV series called Marty.
He had his own TV show. I did not know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That might be worth looking up.
I'm sure it's not.
I think it was. I think it was one season, but I don't think it.
Sounds like it was.
I didn't look into it much further. Playing the monster was Peter Boyle, another person. He passed away 2006. He passed.
Wow, it's really been that long, huh? Jeez.
Multiple myeloma and heart disease. His top 4 includes Young Frankenstein and
Everyone Loves Raymond.
Johnny Dangerously.
no. But
Damn.
Everybody Loves Raymond is yes.
My dad taught me.
I don't think you're gonna get the other.
No. He was the best friend of De Niro.
He's close. He's
Boogie
close.
Nights?
He's close with De Niro. De Niro.
Oh, he's in Taxi Driver.
There it is.
Taxi Driver's part of his top 4.
It's part of his top 4, and this other one is Red Heat.
The Arnold movie?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. I don't remember him being in that.
Go ahead. You want to play something?
Oh no.
Johnny Dangerously was a great Peter Boyle joint.
Yeah.
One of my favorite all-time movie lines. I'm standing here with my dork in my hand. You're telling me to relax? Oh, man, my voice might not make it through this podcast.
No, it's degrading.
It's crazy. Is it hurt? Like
It doesn't hurt
do
at
you
all.
feel it like not being there?
No.
All right. That's weird. It's such change.
I'll try to preserve it.
Up next. Get ready.
All right, I'm ready.
Playing Cloris Leachman.
No, Cloris Leachman.
Cloris Leachman playing.
Look at
That's what I meant. That's what I should have meant. Cloris Leachman as is what I meant to say.
As who?
As
Frau Blücher.
you fix that in post, right?
When he does all his editing.
I'm a little upset because she passed away in 2021. Complications from a stroke with COVID-19 as a contributing factor. But I was upset that her top 4 was not.
I thought you were upset because she had COVID-19
No.
or something. I was like,
because Facts of Life didn't make her top 4.
What, did Raising Hope?
Raising Hope didn't either.
Great.
But
History of the World Part 1.
no, and I'm going to just give it to you because it's Young Frankenstein, Spanglish, The Croods, and The Last Picture Show.
The Croods. Oh, the
and
Emma Stone
Spanglish
cartoon.
over Raising Hope.
Over History of the World Part 1?
Over Facts of Life. She replaced Mrs. Garrett.
I don't know who that is.
Oh,
We don't even have our own language, just these outrageous accents. What are we doing?
Oh my God! I'm waiting for him. He was like, he lost the thing. It was he had it. It was
I
right
keep closing
there.
it and I don't know where it is.
We gotta get a better producer.
Is there anybody?
I'm gonna put him in a home. Don't worry.
What's Logan doing? I mean,
Nothing right now. He's probably jerking off upstairs.
Oh my god.
Sorry, Logan. Oh no, we went
Frau
to
Blücher.
Logan's in Trenton right now, scoring drugs.
that one was actually a little faster than the first one that he missed.
It's true.
I hope so. I parked in his spot in the driveway.
Yeah, he's
You're
gone for
supposed
the
to take
night.
this spot here, right? Up next, playing. I gave the top 4. Terry Garr. She played Inga. She's
You know
still
what?
alive, but she's got MS and she's not doing well. She's like
Really?
yeah, she's out of public eye.
Looking at Terry Garr in this movie, Terry Garr fulfilled a lot of
Absolutely
fantasies for my
beautiful.
life when I was a young boy, because Close Encounters, Mr. Mom, Young Frankenstein.
All in that
And
right
something
around, all
else,
in that,
one other one.
that key age group.
There's one I'm missing, but like, yeah, man. Go Terry Garr.
Yeah.
And then she became Phoebe's mom on Friends.
Phoebe's mom on Friends, yeah.
Oh, that's what she is.
well,
she did look familiar.
Yeah. After Hours, was that the other?
Oh,
movie?
geez, After Hours. I wasn't young when I saw that. I was much older.
That made her top 4 with Tootsie. That's
Tootsie.
Which we'll be doing.
We should have just done that.
Should have done that.
We didn't get to it in 1982 because Brian had to
Somebody
go
went
into
on
his
a 36-week
month-long vacation.
It was 18 days.
And
It's ridiculous.
And then it coincided with
you heard
Christmas
that,
and New
right?
Year's.
You heard what she said, right?
What,
That's
that
ridiculous.
Away for vacation.
For
That
18
long.
You
days?
guys
Then
are
you're
just
also, like-
jealous because we didn't take our kids.
Well, you never take your kids.
What's amazing is that your job was still done for 18 days. Like, the world kept spinning. Bombs kept dropping. It's amazing. I don't know.
No, they didn't.
I guess they did.
Schools kept getting blown up. Kenneth Mars played Inspector Kemp, who had his arm kept getting stuck like this.
I enjoyed that guy.
For maybe the first, until maybe the internet came around, or maybe the last time I saw it before the internet, I thought that was Harvey Korman. Like, all growing up, I thought that was Harvey Korman.
It would have been a perfect role for Harvey
Yeah.
Korman. I read something where they talked to Kenneth Mars and they asked him about wearing an eye patch and then a monocle over it, and then that's what sold him on the part, and that's what made him do it, which I think is absolutely hysterical. He died in 2011 at the age of 75 from pancreatic cancer.
You don't bounce back from that.
A lot of people pancreatic.
No.
People should just have that removed early, right?
No,
Maybe let's have
Can
my
you go
take
in
on
for
it.
that?
I don't think you can have your pancreas.
Yeah, you need your gallbladder. You can get that removed.
What do you
what
need?
he-
What's your pancreas for?
It processes like acids and stuff like that.
Yeah. Endocrine.
What's the stomach for?
That's what goes into your stomach.
Yeah, it's like a little part off of your stomach.
I think that's what helps break down the food,
Yeah.
You really can't lose any body part.
except the gallbladder and appendix
Your
Yeah,
prostate.
and the
But-
tonsils.
But first, they try and kill you. If you get like appendicitis, they
True.
can kill you. I mean,
Gallbla-
you lose your prostate. you're
Gallbladder
fine.
too. I guess that can explode, right?
Parts of your
Gallbladder, yeah.
brain.
It sounds like
still
it's better-
survive that.
It sounds like it's better to just take the pancreas out and deal with the consequences.
I
think
think,
they might
but I
need
think
a
that has something to do with.
colostomy bag then.
But I think the pancreas has something to do with like the kidney function. But then you would need dialysis.
But you'd still be alive.
Yeah, but then you would have to be on that a thing pumping into you.
I'll look up what the pancreas does.
So that'll be on next week's podcast.
I don't know if I want to grow old.
Oh, you don't?
No.
The answer is you do not.
Maybe just go out.
I'm going to go through a few real quick here. Richard Hayden, he played Frankenstein.
Which guy was that? The old man that gave him the box at the beginning?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we have Liam Dunn playing Mr. Hilltop. I'm going to pass that one over to you, Andy.
Liam Dunn, the only thing I know him from, when I looked up the credits just to see who people were.
Well, his top 4 first was Blazing Saddles.
Okay.
What's Up, Doc?
Oh.
Young Frankenstein. And Papillon. Papillon? Yeah.
But he's the old man. He's the priest in Blazing Saddles.
Reverend.
Whatever. One of the Johnsons. And his best line in that is, "Oh Lord, do we have the strength to carry on or carry off this mighty task in one night, or are we just jerking off?" And as soon as I saw him, I'm like, that's the jerking off guy.
So that was it from Blazing Saddles? I thought you knew him from something else.
Oh, no, is he from something else?
No, I thought you
Oh,
did.
no.
That's what I thought you
As soon
had.
as I saw him, when he said, "Nice hopping,"
So then
and he hopped off the table.
I've got some info about the pancreas if you want to hear it.
Sure.
Yeah, good.
Can you live without a pancreas?
I thought you were going to do like Rick and Morty's Pirates of the Pancreas or something like that.
No. But it does says you can live without your pancreas, but you'll have to take medicines to replace what it does in your body. One of the big things it does is regulate blood sugar. So,
So you basically become a diabetic automatically?
you become diabetic automatically, but also all the enzymes that break down food and everything.
But you can take medication.
Yeah, right.
So you can take medication.
You can take medication.
Dr. G's.
But if you get pancreatic cancer, you are dead.
Yeah, pretty much. Well,
Dead.
it might be because it's spread.
Look,
Once
no
they
cancer
find
is
it,
truly a death sentence.
Pancreatic is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would
pancreatic's
think
bad.
metastatic breast cancer that's spread to your brain normally is.
But it's usually because once pancreatic cancer is found, it's already too late and it's already spread. That's
Yeah.
True.
that's
Wasn't
why.
that colon cancer too? Or if it's not caught early enough?
Yeah.
God looked down on your mom and said, "This woman suffered enough."
I can do a
She saw
PSA
him standing
for
over and
PSA tests. because more people are dying from prostate cancer because doctors aren't testing PSA as much anymore. And now the rate of deaths by prostate cancer because they're finding it too late.
So don't they start
get
regularly
your
checking
PSA
for that at
tested.
50? Is that when they really?
You're supposed to,
regularly
but
start
some
it?
doctors don't do it. Like some guys at work, like I asked them, and they're just
Their
like,
doctor didn't, like,
they can't
suggest it to
find
them?
it. It's not even being tested for their PSA level.
Well, you know, a lot more young people are getting colon cancer and dying from it because they're getting it like stage 4.
Yeah, because it's happening too early.
Yeah. Because one of my friend's brother has stage 4 right now. And then another one of my friend's sister passed away last year.
How old were they?
Mid-30s, if that.
Ooh.
Early to mid-30s.
This is a comedy podcast.
Cancer's funny.
I'm going to bring it back up.
When you don't have it, it's funny.
Medical student was played by Danny Goldman.
Was he the little shit one?
Yeah.
He was the one that kept asking him questions. Yeah.
I was like, why is he being so mean?
Then the blind man. Do you know who played the blind man?
Yes. Oh my God.
He was in the credits.
Yeah,
He wasn't in the
definitely-
credits. This isn't my uncredited guy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, from Superman, Lex
Yes.
Luthor.
Yes.
He wasn't in the credits originally. He's been added, I think. since-
Why am I
Oh, was he
blanking on
uncredited?
his
He was
name?
originally uncredited.
Oh.
Yeah, Gene Hackman.
I totally blanked on his name.
During that scene, my roommate was watching next to me and she wasn't paying attention. And when he lights the finger on fire, and she was like, why is he doing that? That's abuse. And I went, Catherine, he's blind.
Really? Do people watch movies and think that kind of stuff?
Well, and then she was like, he's blind? He doesn't look blind. And I was like, Catherine.
Like, she really got offended.
How the
that it was a
fuck
good-
does your
really get
generation
offended.
watch movies?
But she
Like,
looked
oh my
forward
God.
and she was like, I can't wait. I have some things to say that
that's
she
sick.
said, and it was very funny.
All right, so his top 4. You think you got any of his? His did not have Young Frankenstein.
Gene Hackman.
Superman.
No.
French Connection.
Yes.
Runaway Jury.
What's that one with Ray Romano?
Home Depot commercials.
Ray Romano?
Ray Romano.
The Mooseport. Welcome to Mooseport.
Mooseport.
I think that was his last movie.
No, he did Royal Tenenbaums,
He is royal.
Unforgiven,
Awesome movie. He's great in that too.
and The Poseidon Adventure. The Poseidon
He's the
Adventure.
priest or whatever. Yeah, he's the one that.
And my uncredited person, he played the second villager. His name was Ian Abercrombie.
From
Is
Abercrombie and
his
Fitch.
real
Yeah.
name. Ian Abercrombie is his real name.
He's one of the
Does he have a
villagers.
stage name
His
then?
top 4: Army of Darkness, Adam's Family Values, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, and Birds of Prey.
Whoa,
But
whoa, whoa,
I
whoa.
wanna
Slow
tell-
down, slow
I'm
down.
gonna
here.
tell-
Birds of Prey.
There are a lot of big names out there.
I'm going to tell you, none of that is where I know him from, or what I want you to know him from.
Acting. He acted
He
in
played in
Birds of
7
Prey.
episodes of a TV
Was
show.
it? Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was it the little like the Wednesday's boyfriend and Adam's Family Values? Is it that guy? No, I guess that wouldn't make sense.
Adam's Family Values, yes.
But it is Adam's, but not her.
Adam's Family
boyfriend.
Values. That's.
But it would be a little
Yeah,
kid in
well,
that.
I don't know who he
He'd be
played.
a
He
man,
would have been
yeah.
an adult.
I don't know who he played in that. Yeah.
Only person I can think of.
Now
now
you
is
said
Christopher
that's.
Lloyd.
Does he have a stage name that we do know him by?
I can tell you what his name was on the show, and that'll.
No,
way.
don't do that. I don't want to do that. But like,
That's the only other.
but that
clue.
Ian Abercrombie is his name. That's what he
That's
goes
his real
by.
name.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you're saying real name like he has a stage name.
No, I'm saying that's his real name
Okay.
in real life. I'm
Okay.
just saying Ian Abercrombie. Like, that's not a character name. I don't want you
Okay.
to think it's a character name. I could say a character name, but if I give you that character name,
Birds of Prey.
you're going to know.
You said he's in Army of Darkness or Evil Dead 2?
Army of Darkness.
Army of Darkness. Clone Wars, but that's a
Yeah,
cartoon.
and Birds of Prey. I don't think it was the.
Yeah, can you say
the
who he was? in
TV
that?
show?
I don't know because I don't. All it said was Birds of Prey, and
No, that was the movie, the Harley Quinn movie.
The Emancipation
But
of
it
One
didn't
Harley
have-
Quinn
Yes.
by the.
That was a-
but
Good
that's
movie.
that's all in the title, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't have that. It just had
Yeah,
Birds of
there was
Prey.
a-
Maybe the cartoon.
There was a
then.
Birds of Prey TV show
Yeah.
like 20 years ago.
So I think it might have been something like that.
So he became a voice actor.
I'm gonna go ahead and just give it to you.
Yeah, I'm not going to get
He
it.
played Mr. Pitt.
Really?
Ian Abercrombie played Mr. Pitt on Seinfeld.
And as soon as you say that, I remember in Army of Darkness.
Oh.
Yeah, he was definitely one of the people in Army of Darkness. Wow. Mr. Pitt was in the crowd?
And I saw him too. I was like,
Did you really?
Yeah, I was like, that's him. Holy shit.
You know what's really funny? The fact that you saw him, that's great.
Never watched
That you saw him by
Seinfeld.
like one of the villagers every
He's
time.
sitting right there, and then he turns around. He's like, and I was like,
So is it one of the, like when they're storming down into the basement at the end,
they're in
or
there, and they're all sitting down, and they're looking at the, and they're all talking. They're talking, and
so when they're having
everybody's
their
in the
meeting?
crowd, yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow, man, that's really cool. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that now.
That's awesome.
Because there's one guy that looks like David Spade when they're running down the steps. It's like David Spade with a really terrible mustache. And I'm like, it obviously can't be David
yeah.
Spade because he might not even been born yet. But every time I watch the movie, I'm like,
he was born.
every time I watch the movie, so he's
was
like
born-
6 then or something like that.
Yeah, he's
but
a little bit older than us.
every time I see the movie, I'm like, oh, there's the David Spade guy. But the fact that Mr. Pitt's actually in the movie,
Yeah, I was gonna take a picture of it, but then I was like, I'll get a picture of it though.
I'm gonna have to look it up now. I'm sorry. Go on.
That's it. All I had for the cast. If anybody else had anything else for the cast or not.
No, I did not.
If not, I know
That's
we're
awesome, man.
we took a lot of time on that. I apologize, but we can get right into the into our notes. You
Right
want to kick us
there.
off with some notes? That's him, yeah.
Sure. Let me see if there's anything.
Right there. I don't know if that's even showing in the camera. Oh, yeah, it was cutting off half his head.
But if you want to start off with some,
Dude, I
My
don't know
main
if I would have known that's
comment-
Mr. Pitt because he's got hair.
Was just I love Gene Wilder's eyes. He is the best crazy eye acting of anyone. And like whenever he would start calm and then start screaming by the end of his sentence.
he had
It made
a
me
lot of
laugh.
trouble getting through a lot of his lines in this movie. He was the one who broke the most.
Really?
Yes, he was the one who caused the most reshoots, to cause the most people. To
Jason sent me a clip during the week about like bloopers from Young Frankenstein, and they're all caused by Gene Wilder. And 90% of them were about the one scene, I'll
Marty
take the blonde,
Feldman
you take the
scene.
one in the toy bin.
that
and,
was so
and,
funny.
And none of them, like Madeline Kahn was
She was not. She
Madeline's
was so
Kahn's
annoyed.
just like,
it looked like
she's just staring straight ahead. But even
until
when
the
they're-
last one, she was like, she was
even
like,
when they're doing those like what do they call them, like Gene Wilder and Terry Garr are not actually on camera, but they're doing the voice just to get the reaction. And you hear Gene Wilder not even in the microphone. He's like, Igor, help me with the bags. And then he does his thing, and you just hear Gene Wilder start laughing. Oh my God, it was so funny.
When the one time I laughed out loud was when
The one time,
yeah. Oh, I hear static.
Yeah. What is that?
I don't hear anything.
I don't hear anything.
I
either.
hear it.
Really?
Yeah, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Just all of a sudden?
Yeah.
I honestly don't hear it.
Me neither.
No, it's down low. Okay. It's gone.
It was weird.
I'll cut that out.
Honestly, I didn't hear anything.
Oh, you didn't hear that?
No, I heard it clap, but I'm saying I didn't hear any static.
I heard
yeah.
the static.
Yeah, it popped in. Maybe it didn't want me to tell that my part that the one time I laughed out loud.
What was the
But now
part
it's
you
not.
laughed out
It's
loud?
not doing
Dad?
it now.
No.
That still sounds the same.
When Marty Feldman bit the fox stole.
That's the part.
so
That's
funny.
the part where
The
like
part, yeah,
like Gene Wilder just kept like losing it there because like
he'd have fur
during
in his mouth.
during the shoots, like he would come up and there'd be a piece of fur hanging out of his mouth. Or
That was the funny. I think that was one of the funniest parts, and it just came out of nowhere.
but please don't tell me that's the only time you laughed out loud.
Well, I mean, there are other like scoffs and stuff, but
I mean, I
Yeah,
I
I
liked
need
a
that
lot,
noise a
yeah.
lot.
I guffawed like 10 times watching this movie, and I've seen this 50 times, and I'm still just like,
A lot of my laughter came from my roommate's reactions to stuff because she wasn't paying attention. Like she was very annoyed when he looked out the Transylvania window and he was like, "Is this Transylvania Station?" And she's like, "They just said it." And I was like, "That's the point."
what was lyrics to a song?
that's one of those jokes that I didn't
Oh, it
get till
was?
much later in
Chattanooga
life.
Station, right?
Pardon me, boy.
Chattanooga Choo Choo.
Chattanooga
yeah.
Choo-
Chattanooga
Oh,
choo-choo.
I didn't get it. I just thought it was funny.
Track 29.
Can I give you a shine?
Yeah, can I give you a shine?
But that was one of those jokes when I saw Young Frankenstein the first time. I'd never heard
We
that
didn't get
song.
it,
I was
when
like,
we were younger,
why is
yeah.
that funny? I don't get it.
And now you didn't get it.
No.
And you'll get it now.
I guess I got
You
to
get-
listen to that song.
I mean, that's an old song even by 1974 standards.
That's like World War II.
And that's why like this
an
movie
odd
doesn't
exchange,
this
too.
movie doesn't have a lot of that kind of humor. Like you and I have talked over the last like year or whatever about like some of these spoof movies, even like Airplane and Naked Gun, where they're like making fun of like a commercial that just came out like that year. So if you're not watching the movie that year, you're not getting that joke.
Quick example: one of the scary movies does the Budweiser
Yep,
joke.
the "What's Up" thing, and if you didn't know that, and even an airplane where they do the Joe never has a second cup of coffee at home, like that's a Folgers commercial or whatever. Like if you didn't know that was a coffee commercial,
Well, I
you'd be like,
think
"Is that
Was
funny?"
Up
Like
became part of like the
Yeah.
culture.
well, just because airplane was so funny, but if you didn't really know why that was funny, you'd just be like, "Why does she keep saying that?" Like John never throws up at home.
It's a great line, but it's true. I mean,
But if you didn't get
If
the
you-
reference, you'd be just
yeah.
like, "It's funny because she's saying that," but it's based on a commercial.
yeah,
I don't know.
it's just
But that Chattanooga Choo Choo joke was like one of only a couple that were like based on pop culture, I guess. Most of the jokes were just insanity. I laughed out loud twice in the first scene where they're at the medical school. Like obviously when he sticks the scalpel in his leg, I lost it. And I've seen that 100 times. And when he knees the guy. But one of the funnier things was like when he's explaining to med students, these aren't freshmen in college. These are med students.
Yeah.
And the one guy has to stand up and he's like, "Can you explain the difference between voluntary and involuntary muscle reflexes?" I'm like, I am a high school dropout and I know what that means. How does a medical student not know what that means?
he's been going to this high school for 7.5 years. He's no dummy.
I keep getting older. The
I liked it
girls
when
stay
he-
the same age.
After he kneed him in the balls, when he was like, "Give him an extra $1." That did make me laugh.
Anyway, extra $1, sir. Yes, sir. Wanted to go back to one thing where you were talking about how this movie felt older. And that was one of the things Mel Brooks wanted this movie shot in black and white. The studios wanted him to shoot it in color to have the option to show in other countries where color was fairly new still at the time, so they could have the movie shown in color in those countries, and he did not want that option, so he made sure that they filmed it in black and white.
Wouldn't that be funny if you've had color for like a year and they're like, "New movie's coming." You're like, "Awesome. It's in black and white." But like, "Ah, man, like we just got done with this."
Like, damn.
Damn.
When's it retro to bring it back, right? How
Well,
long do you
it
have to
was
wait?
retro in America at that point, so maybe like 20 years. I mean, black and white movies were still in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
Even like
Well, isn't
Rebel Without a Cause is like 60 or something. That's still in black and
Yeah,
white.
some 60s shows and stuff.
Well, the shows, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it's expensive, so.
Because they were shooting so much more of them too.
Okay, I will say I'd forgotten what happened in the movie after putting on the Ritz because that's my favorite scene. It makes me laugh.
Wait, you forgot what happened
So-
after that part?
Yeah, so
Oh,
watching all of that, and I do have to say, we got very rapey. Got very rapey.
Well, that's staying on course for the exciting new podcast, because if you listen to our summer
Rape and abortion.
summer of rape and abortion, yeah.
And for my roommate's comments, my favorite lines of hers was during putting on the Ritz, "I'm cackling. I think that's the best part." And she goes, "I feel like this is making fun of disabled people." And then we get to the rapey, and we're watching the next scene, like when it's getting rapey, and I'm like, "This is
What's
a little
rapey?
uncomfortable.
So he kidnaps
He
Madeline
kidnaps
Kahn,
her, and she's like, "No," and
No.
he just smiles, pulls out his penis.
and she goes, "Woof."
Yes, which was funny, but it was uncomfortable. And I'm like, this feels rapey. I think it's a little rapey. And my roommate goes, it 100% is.
Yeah, but in 1974,
Blazing
nobody
Saddles was a lot
cared.
more rapey.
I know. Well, then she goes, they're saying disabled people rape,
Oh,
which made us laugh pretty hard.
nah, they're just saying,
And then I was
Brain
like, he's,
dead people
and
are
then when he
rapey.
was climbing the castle, I was like, he's so advanced now. He's raping and he's climbing up castle walls.
well, first you learn to rape, then you learn
That's
to
your
climb
first thing.
castles.
I did enjoy the wolf. And then like the whole sweet mystery of life. Like,
Sweet mystery.
at the end of the movie when they're like, well, what did you get from him? And then she sings the song. Catherine goes, why are they doing that song? What did he get from him?
When he
I'm
gets
like,
in the
how
when he
are
gets
you
in the,
not
when he gets in the
understanding?
bed, he gets in the bed. He's the dumbest person as he's climbing into bed.
Yes.
She didn't get that.
No, she did not. Well, she wasn't paying attention. She has some of my favorite. Like when we were watching House of the Dragon, they would like go into these long things about why they're doing something. that scene would end, they would start doing the thing. And she looked at me, she was like, why are they doing that? And I'm like, oh my God.
That's what just
They just spent 10, it's like watching things with you. Like they just spent 10 minutes going over it.
For the listener at home, she pointed at her father when she said that.
But I also really enjoyed when they're doing like the putting on the Ritz, and then when the thing explodes, he just starts losing his mind.
And he can't calm him down after that. Yeah.
No.
And for some reason, all those intellectuals in the audience had heads of cabbage.
One of my notes is like, why do you bring garbage to
I want to talk about the audience first, real quick. He wins that audience over because they're all singing along with him. And then he has his accident. They turn on him so fast.
Listen.
They go from singing with him to being like, boo, get this motherfucker off the stage.
These people in Transylvania are so ignorant because not only are they yelling at him once he starts having a little episode, they don't even understand their own broken English. Because when he's like, we're going to go up there and we're going to get
And they always
a
leave
Frankenstein. And they're like, what? He's like, we're going to go up there and tap her. I forget the exact line that he does.
Did it a couple times,
He does it a couple times. They're like, what? He's like, we're going to go up there and get a Frankenstein. So they don't even understand their own broken English that they speak as
And again,
a dialect
it
there.
seems like that could have been Harvey Korman doing those exact lines.
It still
Yeah.
feels like Harvey Korman to me.
And that line, for safety's sake, don't humiliate him.
That's just common sense.
We just kept turning to each other like me every time I leave the house. Safety's sake, don't humiliate me. And also when he's yelling, stay in your seats, it just like brings me back to that Will Ferrell movie when he's the basketball player.
Semi-pro.
Semi-pro.
Yeah.
And then when they're having the bear fight and they're like, everyone stay in your seat when the bear's loose.
I almost feel there's like a missing gag in this, which probably would have been a gag too much, where when people were entering the theater, there was like a concession stand, like handing out cabbages and tomatoes to the people
To get you
as they're
ready.
going in.
Well, I did read that this movie originally was twice as long, the original cut.
God.
So they had so much to edit.
Oh, I would watch that.
Yeah, I'd at least want to see that once.
I'd like to see it
I
at
feel like
least
they
once,
probably
yeah.
took all the best jokes and cut it down to just the core.
Or
but,
you have to wonder, could it have been garbage? I mean, you don't know.
well,
Yeah.
at 3 hours it probably was, but
There was only a budget of $2.78 million for this, and it made a robust $86.2 million. So that's a lot
making
of
your money back. I guess that's why Mel Brooks did 2 movies.
It's listed as on the AFI's 13th best comedy movie of all time. But I didn't look at the. It's on
I was going to say, I wonder if that's
100,
the highest of his is Blazing Saddles higher or Producers.
I don't know.
I gotta be honest, like I'm not a huge fan of the Producers. Like I've seen it a couple times,
I like
and
it.
I like the remake.
it's
more.
not better than Blazing Saddles or
I
Young
like the
Frankenstein.
Larry David
original.
version. That was pretty good.
That was good.
It said, parody comedies don't really tend to do well at the Academy Awards, but Young Frankenstein managed to find success where others do not. The film was nominated for 2 Oscars. One was for Best Sound, and the other was for Brooks and Wilder for Best Adapted Screenplay. They didn't win either one.
Interesting.
But
I wonder, like
Godfather was won to 74.
Godfather 2.
Yeah,
that
Godfather 2 won 74.
Like you're saying, parody movies don't normally do well, which is obviously true. Like, what was a parody movie before this? Like, were Marx Brothers movies
Airport?
considered parody movies? Like,
Those airport movies, right?
weren't they
Even though-
straight movies? Weren't they?
I thought
was
these
it
were the
Airplane?
first ones.
Yeah, it
They
was.
have to be. I guess it has to be. Can't be a straight. It has to be a comedy, right?
I guess.
Although I guess there were some older movies in like the 50s that would make fun of the movies before them. But I thought
guess.
that real spoof movies, I thought Mel Brooks was like the father of them.
I feel like he is. Like, I don't know anything before him, really. If there are movies before him,
If it is, it's
That-
definitely something that we're not aware of. Yeah.
like, I don't know if you'd consider like those Marx Brothers movies spoof movies. They were just like maybe like Adam Costello,
But that's the thing. Like, are they spoofing
Frankenstein's a
vaudeville?
spoof.
They could
or-
be spoofing something from
Yeah.
vaudeville, possibly, so that you can technically look at it that way. But
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, that was a spoof of vaudeville when they're doing the putting on the Ritz.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this or not, but there was a
I know that.
1980s version. What's that?
I said, yeah, I know that.
Oh yeah, there's a 1980s version of Putting on the Ritz that came out by Taco.
Isn't it the
Taco.
most famous version of it?
No, this movie's from like the 30s or something.
Oh,
like
I know,
that.
no, I know, but I thought I thought that song was like the most famous version. Is
I
from
mean,
that.
I only really knew it from Young Frankenstein up until that Taco version came out. So
Dressed up like $1 million trooper.
But again, that's like one of those kinds of movies.
Look like
That song is
that goes, why don't you go where fashion hits? They were talking about like how the people back in like the 1900s, 1910s, 1920s would get all dressed up and then
like
walk
the
down
jazz,
the street.
the jazz era or something like that.
Yes. And then they changed it.
I don't know. This is this movie is so ingrained in my head. Like I can't sing "Put It on the Ritz" without singing it like Peter Boyle. I mean, I remember when that song came out, the taco version. I was like, they're doing a cover song for the Young Frankenstein. Like, really? That's ridiculous. So
this was Gene Hackman had already won an Oscar, and he was like a serious actor, but he wanted to do comedy, and he asked to be in this movie.
Oh, really?
The priest is very funny when he's like, I just want company. And it works company.
That's Gene Hackman.
I know. That's what he has said.
Oh, okay.
Why do you think she was?
That's why I brought it up.
Please, Andy, help me on here.
I'm just looking at my notes. I got so much stuff written down. It's just like,
I'm trying to go
I just
through.
have like stuff written down that are just random thoughts as I'm watching the movie. I've seen this movie 50 times if I've seen it once. So a lot of this was just because I'm like, that's weird. Like in the first scene, when they open up the coffin and they pull the will off of Victor Frankenstein, you know,
how hard it was.
pulls it back. Obviously silly, but why would there just be like a corpse sitting in the middle of a living room by a fire in a coffin there? I was like, why is that just sitting there?
A rotted corpse.
When did he die that the will is now getting delivered?
Yeah.
How old is Belcher?
Well, based on he wasn't freshly dead. He might have been 6 months dead based on the skulls that we'd see later.
Oh,
in the
I love
movie.
that jump
That's
scare.
so great.
And then I really enjoyed. Well, yeah, when it goes to his face.
First time it happens, it's a jump scare.
When it says "Do not use this braid," and I was like, "Who would like? Why would you write
and there
that
were
down?"
so many brains in there. Why did
Do
he
not
pick that
use-
one?
Well, he did. I don't think he could read, so that was
No, he
probably
could
the
because he
joke.
knew it was Abby.
He didn't know it was Abby somebody.
But it made me laugh that they wrote specifically, "Do not use this brain." It was like, who is that for?
And
Whose
who
note is that
uses
for?
brain?
And why is it right there next to all the other brains that you could use?
And is that person that he wanted the brain of? Is that a famous person or something?
I think
or
he
is it
was a
just
scientist. It's like getting like
He
Charles
was a real-life
Darwin's.
scientist.
It's like getting
Yeah.
Charles Darwin's brain or something like that.
Hans Drucker.
I thought it was very interesting that he took the train from wherever he was. I assume he was on the West Coast because that is like New York next stop. And then it cuts
And
to
then
Transylvania next
Did you
stop. I'm like,
notice-
that train must have been like that. Must
Did you
have been
notice
a
that
long-
gone under the ocean?
Yeah.
When it was in America, it was like the same people were the people when it was in Germany, because it was also the train conductor was the same guy.
Just now, all of a sudden, he had an accent.
They're just
He was-
using
he was
different.
just-
Oh yeah,
And
But
speaking
I was like,
in
man,
German.
that must have been a
That's so funny.
long train
Like
ride.
stupid things like that. That's silly, and that's the
That
funny
is
thing.
silly.
I like funny stuff like that. But hey, I'm not a parody comedy. That's the Academy Awards, right? They don't
I
like
thought
them
that
there.
child he played with was very demanding on him.
The little girl.
Yes.
Oh
I
yeah,
thought she
that
was a
great.
little mean.
Now, do you know that's like straight out of like the Frankenstein movie?
No.
Almost all of this is like but he kills her, right? He throws her down the well or something like that.
Oh, is that why he felt like he was about to kill the little girl and then he didn't?
Because she's like, no, we have nothing else to throw in there, and he like looks at the camera.
Yes,
like,
I was like, are they going to throw?
Yeah, this is all canon.
I couldn't remember that part, so I was.
Can we talk about real quick?
Yep,
Can we talk
yep.
about the walk this way line?
It's so funny that
yes.
you should say that. Yes, bring that up. Talk
Wanna
about,
talk about
that.
that?
No, I don't want to talk about that specifically. I just want to talk about something else.
Well, the band Aerosmith, I'm not a big fan of the band
yeah.
Aerosmith. They took a break one night from recording and they went to see the movie.
You got to look it up. Young Frankenstein.
No, I wanted to make sure
yes.
I wanted to make sure I had the right year. It said in 1974, Aerosmith took a break from a long night of recording to see this film. I wanted to make sure it was Steven Tyler wrote it. Steven Tyler wrote the band's hit "Walk This Way" the morning after seeing the movie, inspired by Marty Feldman's first scene, the "Walk This Way." This way.
I've never heard that before. That's crazy that I've never heard that before. That's great.
And I've seen it a couple times too, here and in another a couple other sites.
When did they record that song? I thought
Probably
that was like the
1974.
Yeah, I'm going to the next year.
Nah, dude, they were broken up way before the 80s, and then they got back
That was
together.
the Run DMC version you're thinking of.
80s. Yeah.
This is Aerosmith did this song by themselves.
Oh,
in the
okay.
70s.
I didn't know
that Walk This Way, Run DMC version is a very monumental song for both those acts, because that was like the last hit for Run DMC to never be seen again. And it was like the rebirth of Aerosmith. Like Permanent Vacation came out like the next year. So
And then they went on
it kind of like
run.
ruined Run DMC's career and restarted Aerosmith. So yeah. But I didn't want to talk about that line. I didn't want to talk about lines because you could just sit here and quote lines and lines and lines and lines.
Well, I had.
But listen, no, I have lines written down because there are some that they hit so hard, even like today. When I watched it last night, I just couldn't believe how brilliant some of this stuff was. And it's so simple. And it was werewolf.
Oh, I love that line.
Not that one specific. Not that. Their wolf. Their castle. And then he goes up there. He's like, why are you talking like that? He's like, oh, I thought you wanted me to. Just the way he like breaks character. He's like, their wolf. Their castle. Like, why are you talking like that? Oh my God. It's so brilliant. It's so easy and so stupid, but so funny. So funny.
I knew that. I got it in here somewhere. How many times he breaks the fourth wall?
Oh yeah, this is the first time I really noticed that he returned to the
Marty
camera.
Feldman's character Igor breaks the fourth wall. How many times do you think he breaks the fourth wall in this?
It's
movie?
funny. I
liked it when he did it.
I don't remember Igor breaking the fourth wall so much. I've written down here. Well, I'm just gonna say I had 4 written down, but I said fourth wall. I'll say 4 times.
4.
I think 7.
7.
5.
5 is correct.
Is it? That's awesome.
Broke the fourth wall 5 times. That was in your inner monologue?
He was his inner monologue was counting for him as he went along.
That's who told me.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. I don't think I really remember that much of the fourth wall breaking.
Yeah, it seemed like, well, I guess it was intentional. It seemed like after a while, I'm like, they're still doing this? Like, and even like when Peter Boyle with the little girl, and he looks at the camera, he's like, and then with Madeline Kahn at the end, where he's like, It's like a lot of people are looking at the camera like, you know what's happening here. You know what's going on.
When she started yelling at him after he left, that made me laugh very hard. When she's like, you better keep your mouth shut. She starts all sweet, and then she starts threatening him.
Madeline Kahn is one of the all-time best comedic female actresses. I mean, she could do no wrong until she did a Bill Cosby sitcom.
Could you have seen her?
She was dying at that time.
Could you have seen Cindy Williams playing that role?
Cindy Williams playing Madeline Kahn?
Yeah,
I guess I could, but I wouldn't want to.
But
I would rather have Madeline Kahn.
Cindy Williams was originally going to play that.
Really?
She said, yeah.
How old was Cindy Williams at that time?
Probably younger than Madeline Kahn.
Yeah.
Probably early 20s, maybe. Because she got Laverne and Shirley right around that time.
Yeah, I don't think I'd cast anybody over Madeline Kahn for anything. Unless it was like Carrie Fisher for Star Wars. Like if it was Madeline Kahn and Carrie Fisher, I'd be like...
What if it was Terry Garr and Madeline Kahn you had to choose from?
Well, I think Terry Garr plays the right part in this. She
was
younger.
Saying if you had to choose the one person for the role, and it was between those two, who would you choose?
If it's to be funny, Madeline Kahn. Definitely Madeline Kahn.
Yeah, she was a lot.
Too funny.
Her lines were less than Inga's, but she was so much funnier with what she got.
Yeah, she's out.
Mr. Mom, though.
She's out of the movie for half the movie.
But like, I love the when they're saying goodbye, the train station scene when she ducks from the kiss.
Taffeta, darling.
Well, just like the look of disgust, and she's like truly afraid.
One thing,
and it's great because at the end the smoke just like envelops her legs.
She starts coughing.
One thing that made me sad that I read was when reporters asked Terry Garr what she thought about her experience with Gene Wilder. She replied, "Wilder was a jerk."
Oh,
it's not surprising.
I'm so sad to hear that. I would have hoped this was the kind of movie where, like, after they finished filming for the night, they're like, "Let's hit the bar. Let's hang."
He looks like someone that's difficult to work with.
I would have loved to have, like, he seemed like, I love Gene Wilder. I really did.
Yeah, I don't see that from him, but I never worked with him, so what do I know?
Every character he plays is a difficult man that's yelling constantly and is somehow misunderstood, and he plays it too well for that not to be
good acting.
Yeah, he's not misunderstood.
You don't have that look of crazy in your eye unless you're crazy.
He's crazy.
And the way the hair frizzes, it's perfect.
He does have perfect hair for that, yeah.
But he's
especially at the end of Wonka when he's sitting there and his hair's all messed up, and he's like, and he reaches over and he grabs that everlasting gobstopper and he says, "You win, Charlie." He said he turns around and he won. You won. Yeah.
I just have a note too. I love when Gene Wilder yells.
He does yell great.
Just the build up he does too is so good. And then they close in on this. That's the only thing missing is his big blue eyes. You can't see.
Yeah, right.
So I also have that Frau I won't even make you do it. Frau Blucher.
I'm not ready.
might
Yeah, I
have
know.
it ready.
When they first get there and they do the Frau Blucher joke like 4 times, they walk in and she's like, "Stay close to the candles. The candles are never lit."
Yeah,
like they're walking up the stairs,
They're
even
never
when they're
lit,
in the room, she's still got the candles in her hand, and they're never lit the entire time. I thought that was quite
bothered me
funny.
too. I noticed that. Yeah.
Frau Blucher.
It's still funny now.
It is funny. Well, it will never not be funny.
How old is she supposed to be? Because I think she's supposed to be old, but she's a young
'cause
woman.
She was young. She was probably like in her 30s.
Yeah, because she was probably the young assistant.
Actually, she might be a little-
to the grandfather.
Yeah.
But has he been dead long? Again, I feel like
Well,
there's
she's being aged
time
up. I mean,
missing.
she died.
She aged.
She died a couple of years ago in her 80s, so that was 50 years ago. So,
I think she was in her 90s.
oh, was she? So she might have been 40.
she
years.
was old on
She
this.
was a Miss America contestant.
Yeah, she looked, and she was
Back in her day.
She was.
So she's
she was
pretty.
A looker.
Yeah. Oh, she always uglied herself up for like all the movies she was in. In High Anxiety, she had that stern lip and the big boobs.
The boobs were
Yeah,
like they were like
missiles.
metal. Like it was almost like it was like a.
She had that face like this.
Have you ever seen High Anxiety?
No.
That's one of. I would say it's a lesser Mel Brooks movie, but it's still
It's up there.
hilarious.
It's funny,
Oh, that's so
It's
good.
it's a spoof on all of Alfred Hitchcock movies. It's so funny. It does help to probably have seen a lot of the Alfred Hitchcock movies that they're spoofing.
Yeah, or to like those characters too,
Yeah.
and to like Mel Brooks and of course Lee.
She was awesome.
Harvey Korman. You get in this one,
I didn't realize.
and you get I got it. I ain't got it.
Yeah,
Ron Carey.
yeah. Because he does the psycho shower scene with the newspaper. Here's your paper. Here's your paper. Here's your paper.
It's good. I recommend it. You've seen it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, he's seen everything.
Most
Has seen
comedies I've
everything.
He
seen.
has not seen anything.
He's seen nothing. The subtitle of this podcast is movies Brian hasn't seen.
That's the one that shows me movies. That means I haven't
When he's
seen
watching them for
anything.
the first time for this
They're-
podcast.
I only showed you comedy, so
That's true. No, I think we did a couple serious ones.
You never watched any
trying to
Rocky
think of
movies?
them.
You
No, I've
wa-
never
you
seen.
You never watched any
No
war
horror movies.
Never no horror movies.
I got. I'm getting into horror by myself, but I only like seeing them in theaters.
How is your son so well rounded? Like I talk
He
to him
isn't.
about bullshit. I talk to him about like movies and TV shows all the time. He's seen everything.
He hasn't seen any Kevin Smiths.
he doesn't ever listen to my.
No.
One of the guys at the medical lab or the medical school at the very beginning looked like Tom Brady. I was like, how'd Tom Brady get a seat at this medical school? I have that in my notes. I don't know why I have that in my notes. I was glad they were wearing masks when they were operating on a dead guy. You wouldn't want to get the dead guy sick.
Well, no, it's
I know.
he has gases coming out of him.
When he says pull the third switch, and he's like, not the third switch, pull it. The third switch is labeled the works. I'd never noticed that before. And he pushes it and the whole thing explodes. Oh my God. So after the dart scene, obviously he starts throwing the darts out the window, and you see the tire.
Yeah.
Pull. The driver also has a dart in his head. I never noticed that before. He has a dart in his
so hard
hat.
at that.
I had
When I
never
watched
s-
it the other night, I was laughing so hard.
I had
to
never
pause it.
seen that before. I was like, "Oh my God, the
There was
guard's got a
something
dart
about.
in
I
his
guess
head."
I had never seen that before either, but that made me laugh so hard when I saw that. I had to pause it. I could not believe it.
I
that
love
was so
that the-
fun.
Oh, I said I love that the town folks don't understand their own broken English. And you're
Oh, it did make me wonder how bad was the first Frankenstein incident that they are terrified of this man just being back. They have no proof he's doing what
Right.
he's doing, but they're terrified of another monster.
And ready to just kill.
Oh yeah, they're ready to riot from the beginning.
I only have one more note left, but I'm going to leave
I'm
it
out
for
of
the
my
end.
notes, so I'm good.
Okay.
I'm ready for scores. So, if
Well,
you
no,
guys
I have
wanna
one
finish
more
up
note
your
that I have to
notes.
go over, but I'm going to wait.
Go ahead, Brian.
You want me? My score?
No,
Notes.
still talking.
Internal notes, inner monologue. Got anything?
No, I
You
don't
didn't
have
even
it.
drink.
It looks nothing normal.
Oh, in the middle of the movie, my roommate goes, I just realized right now this is in black and white. And that made me laugh very hard.
That could be technically a good thing. She didn't realize.
True.
It's such a good
She did
movie,
not
she didn't
enjoy
realize
the
it.
demanding child either.
Yeah, I don't think that was anybody's favorite. Yeah.
She was like, why are they being so mean to him?
I did love the fact that those parents were like so ridiculously clueless
Oh,
about
that
their
was
child.
funny.
I thought you checked on her. No, you checked on her. Like, you live in a
Oh.
1-bedroom hovel. How hard is it for you to check all the rooms?
I also enjoyed that because he was like, we have to be safe now. There's a monster on the loose. They have no proof that a monster is on the loose, but for that weird town meeting,
There
that
must have
they're
been
all
someone
convinced.
riding through town going, monster
Oh, the
on
one
the
that
loose.
Mr. Pitt was at?
Oh yeah. Oh, well, and then the net. When they threw the net on top of him. That made me
yeah.
laugh. I'm like, where'd that net come from? It made me laugh very hard.
It was so, he was like,
And the sedative kept getting bigger. I like
set
that
of what?
gag. The sedative. Like when they give him the first
Sedative?
sedative.
Sedative? Said again?
and already said that after, he's like, said it give.
Said again? And then when he starts getting straggly, he's like, 3 syllables? Like, what? We're doing it again?
It was a funny movie.
It's a hysterical movie.
So I'm out of notes.
All right, the
and
only thing
got
I
the
have
final
left-
note, right?
Okay, you out?
No,
don't
I
wanna-
think
wanna step
everything
on
I
you.
said was funny. I'm done.
The only thing I have left is like, I watching this movie last night, I forgot how much of a part of my whole life this movie is. Like, if I had never seen this movie, I don't think I'd appreciate humor as much as like. There are so many jokes in this that I quote all the time. Like I said, like I couldn't sing "Put It on the Ritz" without like doing Peter Boyle's version of it. Michelle's sister had a friend named Abby. We never didn't call her Abby someone or Abby normal. It was always Abby somebody or Abby normal. And I couldn't say the word boyfriend without saying boyfriend. Like, you know, he was my boyfriend. And I use it like that all the time. Still to this day. I said it to Logan like the other day when I was like, does she have a boyfriend? And
Every time you say Frau.
Frau Blue. And then two more. Like the socks and poo-poo undies, when they said it yesterday, Michelle's like, how many times do I say it? Like, does anybody have any socks and poo-poo undies? And the last one is when they throw the net on him and she gives him the sedative and he falls down and Giovanna's like, he's out. And he's, Igor's underneath him was like, I know. when the kids were young and Michelle would put them to sleep, she'd be like, he's out. I'm like, I know, like, because I don't hear him anymore. So I can't believe I haven't watched this movie. How much of this? I love this movie. It's hilarious. I laughed so much last night watching it again for the 500th time.
That's awesome. That is really, yeah.
I'm so glad you recommended this after we bullied you into
I
recommending this.
know. It's okay. I had just watched it during Halloween, so that's why I wasn't super. And I still think Blazing Saddles.
We can still do Blazing. We can still do Blazing
Should we
Saddles.
let our guests start us off with our scores then?
Okay, so what is it out of?
It's out of 100.
Out of 100.
Yes.
Okay. Then I think it's a 92.
92. I like that score. That's very nice.
It's high.
It is a very good movie. I apparently give away high scores often. Connor makes fun of me on my letterbox.
Should we go to Brian?
Yeah,
or
he's obviously got to go first. He can't be trusted not to.
I'm sorry. That's why I wanted to see if you wanted to get your score first or not.
Yeah, I'm going to give it an 81.
That's higher than I was not expecting that high from you, to be honest with you.
It's just 1 point lower than Beastmaster.
That is, Beastmaster is still higher. Me?
I'll go.
Do you want to? Is it rewatchable for you? Or
Oh yeah,
give us any?
yeah, it's definitely rewatchable.
So you made a point when I was little to show me scenes of this movie.
True.
I'm going to go ahead and give mine now. It's a score Andy gave, I think, last week.
God damn it, dude!
95%.
I'm giving it this week too.
I got it in here so you could see that I had it in there. That's 95%. I love this movie. And this, I guess I've seen this movie at least 20, 30 times, but this is another movie I could watch another 20, 30 times. I love it. 95.
I give it a 95 also. This movie is required viewing, and if you don't find it funny, you don't have a sense of humor. It's everything that's great about a movie.
Did you get a score from Connor? Did he give you one? All right.
But he said he loved it. He said he's seen it like a dozen times because when I was grilling him today, like, did your father-in-law watch this on 1.0 speed? He's like, yeah, I sat there with him through like half of it. I'm like, you only stayed through half? He's like, I've seen it like a dozen times. He's like, I love that movie. I'm like, oh, okay, good. I love this movie. I don't know if it's better or worse than Blazing Saddles, but it's at least they're A and A1. They're so funny. Mel Brooks had a good year in 1974. My God.
He did.
I definitely like this more than like History of the World Part 1.
It's probably better than History of the World Part 1. It's probably better than
that's another one that's up
Spaceballs.
there,
But
man. That movie's so good.
I would say Blazing Saddles and Young Frankenstein are my two favorite Mel Brooks movies. And to
real
decide which one I'd rather watch, I don't know if I could decide.
The critics give this a 94 and the audience gives it a 92. So we're all right there.
Except for Dad.
Yeah, but
I gave it an
he's a hard judge.
Yeah. I'm
Are
surprised he gave it that high. Usually he's in the 60s, and that's a good score for me.
60s?
The only thing that gets a 90
You
or
gave Clue a high score.
Did I?
Yeah, we were drinking a lot then.
the only thing that gets a high over a 90 for him is South Korean teen porn.
In the 100.
And we're not usually giving those scores. It's usually just
I don't think we
recommendations.
did scores during Clue.
We did.
Oh, okay.
Because
Yeah, we
I
gave
gave
it
it like
score.
100 or a 98, and Andy was
Yeah, Andy gave it a
not
60. He
pleased.
gave it the lowest. He gave it a 60.
Oh.
I gave it a 60.
Yeah.
I think you
Oh,
gave Clue a
good.
better score than this movie, and that's wrong.
No, I definitely didn't.
Well, there's only one way to find out.
I have to listen.
Dun, dun.
The 3 hours. I don't have 3 hours to go
Skip to the
listen.
end.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just get to
skip
the
to the
end.
end.
Yeah.
It's not at the end. The end is talking about nonsense.
But at least you can go to at least halfway through it. That's right.
Did we really get the scores halfway through?
Probably.
We were immature. We,
We were
didn't know what we were doing back
singing
then.
the Ropers theme
Yeah,
song.
we had the Roper's theme. I think if you want, I think you could catch that on Spreaker. And anywhere else you download your podcast, you can find us there, Andy. That's right. On Instagram, I'm the Jazoo. Jazoo74 on Twitter. I'm Jason.
I'm Andy, AEgonzo1 on Twitter, AEgonzo1970 on Instagram.
And I'm Brian, Papa Bad Kitty.
I'm Caitie. Caitie Alpin.
What about Frau Blick?
I'll do it for you, man.
Oh, if he had it right there, it would have been perfect.
Frau Blücher.